if checking your bank account makes your chest tighten. This video is about you. You avoid opening your banking app. You downplay your finances in conversations. You feel embarrassed when money comes up, even when no one is judging you. That's not weakness. It's conditioning. And here's the dangerous part. Financial shame silently controls how you spend, save, and avoid decisions, without you noticing. In this video, I'll show you why money embarrassment forms, how it keeps people stuck in survival mode, and how to dismantle it step by step. But first, there's one invisible behavior almost everyone with financial shame does, and it's the reason confidence never comes back until it's fixed. Most people feel embarrassed about money because they think something is wrong with them. A good mentor would say this plainly: it's not a character flaw, it's a training gap. No one sat most families down to explain personal finance, financial psychology, or basic financial education. So when money feels confusing, it's not failure, it's lack of reps, like trying to lift weights without ever learning proper form. Think about the Karate Kid. Daniel wasn't weak or dumb, he was untrained. Wax on, wax off looked pointless until the skills clicked. Money works the same way. Finance tips, how to make money, and money habits only feel overwhelming because the brain never built those pathways. Once someone understands how cash flow works, why habits matter, and how emotions drive spending, confidence starts to show up fast. A practical step here is simple and doable. Treat money like a skill, not a judgment. Start with one solid book like The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel or I Will Teach You to Be Rich by Ramit Sethi. Spend 15 minutes a day learning how personal finance actually works. In a year, that's over 90 hours of financial education most people never get. The long-term payoff is real. Someone who upgrades money habits early can redirect just $200 a month into smart systems and build tens of thousands over time. More important, the shame fades, and curiosity replaces fear. And once shame drops, something sneaky shows up next: the urge to compare your life to everyone else's highlight reel. That's where the real mental trap begins. Want to see how that comparison quietly wrecks a powerful money mindset? Comparison is one of the fastest ways to destroy a strong money mindset, and almost nobody notices it happening. A wise mentor would point out that social media isn't reality, it's a trailer. People post vacations, cars, and wins, but they never post credit card debt, anxiety, or the stress behind the scenes. That constant comparison quietly messes with financial psychology and keeps people stuck in bad money habits. A clean example shows up in The Great Gatsby. From the outside, Gatsby looks rich, powerful, untouchable. But underneath the image is loneliness, pressure, and a house built on illusion. Online life works the same way. Someone scrolling sees success and thinks, "I'm behind," without realizing that many of those lifestyles are funded by loans, not by solid personal finance or real financial education. A practical move here is to change the inputs. Limit social media that triggers comparison and replace it with finance tips that actually teach how to make money. Follow creators who talk openly about habits, budgeting, and investing instead of flexing. One concrete action is to track how comparison affects spending. If scrolling leads to impulse buys, that's data, not weakness. Over time, the math tells the story. Avoiding just two $150 impulse purchases a month frees up $3,600 a year, money that could build an emergency fund or start investing. That's how confidence compounds quietly. And once comparison loses its grip, the next challenge becomes unavoidable, finally facing the numbers themselves. That moment changes everything. Most people avoid their numbers like a scary movie they never want to watch alone. Income, debt, spending, it all feels heavy, but the fear lives in imagination, not reality. Financial psychology shows that clarity lowers anxiety faster than avoidance ever could. One honest look at personal finance replaces years of stress with a strange sense of control. This is like Moneyball, when Billy Beane faced the raw stats, uncomfortable as they were, everything changed. Numbers stopped being emotional and became strategic. Sitting down for 1 hour to write what comes in, what goes out, and what's owed is one of the strongest finance tips out there. That single act resets money habits and reframes how to make money decisions. Practically speaking, The move is simple and specific. Open a notes app or spreadsheet and list income, fixed bills, variable spending, and debts, no judgment attached. Studies show people who do this once per month are 2x more likely to stick to a budget long term. Financial education starts with visibility, not perfection. Once the numbers are clear, something unexpected happens. Confidence doesn't come from having more money, but from knowing the truth. And with that confidence, momentum builds fast. Because now the question isn't, can I change this? It's, what's the smallest one I can lock in today? That's where the power of tiny promises starts to shift everything. Big goals sound exciting, but small promises rebuild trust fast. Financial psychology shows that confidence grows when actions are achievable, not dramatic. Saving $10, tracking one expense, or skipping one impulse buy sounds small, yet it rewires money habits at the identity level. That's how a shaky money mindset starts to feel solid again. Think about Rocky. The first win wasn't the championship, it was lasting one round longer than expected. Personal finance works the same way. One kept promise tells the brain, I do what I say, and that changes how someone approaches how to make money. Those micro wins stack faster than motivation ever could. A practical move is choosing something almost too easy to fail. Set an automatic transfer of $10 weekly, or write down every coffee purchase for 7 days. Research shows consistency beats intensity in financial education, and people who start small are far more likely to scale. This approach keeps momentum alive without burnout. Once they experience a promise kept, silence breaks inside their head. Shame loses volume, and self-trust grows quietly. But there's still pressure lingering, and it often hides in isolation. Because money feels heavier when it's carried alone. Which raises the next uncomfortable, but powerful step. Who can they talk to safely about money? Money shame thrives in silence, and that silence slowly distorts reality. When no one hears the struggle, the mind fills the gaps with worst-case stories. Financial psychology shows that naming a problem out loud immediately reduces its emotional weight. One honest conversation can do more for personal finance clarity than months of overthinking alone. A clean example shows up in Good Will Hunting. Real change started when we'll finally talk to someone who felt safe. Money works the same way. Sharing numbers, fears, or goals with one trusted person reframes money habits from isolation to strategy. That conversation isn't about advice first, it's about relief and perspective. Practically, this isn't a group confession or a public post. It's one person, a partner, sibling, close friend, or even a financial coach. Saying, here's what I make, here's what I owe, and here's what I want to fix, opens the door to better financial education. People who discuss money regularly make clearer decisions about how to make money long term. Once the silence breaks, something subtle shifts. Money stops feeling like a personal failure and starts looking like a shared problem to solve. And when that pressure lifts, a deeper realization shows up quietly. If money can be discussed without shame, maybe it was never meant to define personal value in the first place. A bank balance is a number, not a verdict, but most people were never taught that difference. When money goes up, confidence spikes. When it drops, self-worth crashes. Financial psychology calls this identity entanglement, and it's one of the biggest drains on long-term personal finance success. Freedom starts when money becomes a tool, not a mirror. A powerful example shows up in The Pursuit of Happiness. Chris Gardner's value didn't shrink when his bank account hit zero. His discipline, resilience, and habits carried him forward before the money ever did. That mindset shift is core to strong money habits and sustainable ways to make money. A practical reframe helps here. Instead of asking how much am I worth, the better question is how well am I managing what I have today? Studies show people who separate identity from income make calmer decisions under pressure and recover faster from setbacks. That's real financial education at work, not motivational fluff. When self-worth stabilizes, decisions stop being emotional and start being strategic. Spending slows, saving feels intentional, and growth becomes predictable. But there's one deeper shift that locks this in permanently, something older and more powerful than modern finance tips. And that's where renewing the mind changes everything from the inside out. Lasting change never starts in the wallet, it starts in the mind. Romans 12 verse 2 talks about transformation through renewing how you think, and that principle maps perfectly to financial psychology. When old money stories stay unchallenged, the same habits repeat, no matter how many finance tips someone consumes. A renewed mindset reshapes personal finance from the inside out. A clear parallel shows up in The Shawshank Redemption. Andy didn't escape the prison by force, he escaped it mentally first. Money works the same way. Before learning how to make money differently, people must stop thinking the same defeated thoughts about scarcity, fear, and unworthiness. That mental shift is the foundation of powerful money habits. Practically, renewing the mind looks simple but consistent. Replace one limiting belief per week with truth backed by action, like tracking progress instead of replaying failure. Studies show mindset-focused financial education improves long-term savings behavior by over 30%. This isn't hype, it's a tested pattern that compounds quietly. Once thinking changes, behavior follows almost automatically. Decisions feel lighter, discipline feels natural, and shame loses its authority. At that point, the pieces finally connect into a bigger picture. And now it's time to zoom out and see how all of this fits into a real, human story you might recognize. Remember how overwhelming it felt to avoid your bank balance, compare yourself to others, or feel that quiet embarrassment when money came up? Now you see it clearly, the issue was never who you are, it was what you were taught. You've already started breaking the cycle by understanding financial psychology, rebuilding money habits, and shifting your money mindset from shame to strategy. That alone puts you ahead of where you were yesterday. So here's the real question: what happens if you actually apply this? If you stop comparing, face the numbers once, keep small promises, and treat personal finance as a skill, not a judgment? This is how people learn how to make money calmly, not desperately. This is how financial education turns into confidence, clarity, and long-term control instead of stress and avoidance. If this helped you reframe money even a little, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss finance tips that can genuinely transform your relationship with money. This channel is about building real habits, a stronger mindset, and a smarter approach to personal finance that actually works in real life. And if you're ready to go deeper, there's something designed exactly for this moment. Holistic Health. Nourish your mind, balance your finances, transform your life shows you how to rewire your thinking around money, create sustainable income strategies, eliminate debt with clarity, and stay mentally grounded under financial pressure. It's not theory, it's a practical system you can apply immediately. Click the link in the pinned comment now and start transforming your finances today. This is your time. Check out the material in the pinned comment.